Well, good evening, racing fans. Welcome to racing action from Grand River Raceway for this, says in the front of the program, Wednesday evening. We have 20 minutes to post time. The track condition listed is fast, and as you can see, there's a bit of haze overhead, as I guess there's a bit of haze in Ontario right now. Hazy every day in my world, so I didn't notice the difference. Let's get a look at the changes. Race number one has no changes. No changes, race one. Race number two scratched is number 8, Bet You Love Me. Race number 3, there were no changes. No changes, race number 3. Race number 4, number 2, YS Better's Legacy, bridle change. Blind bridle to blinkers. Number 7, Extra Cheese. Well, no extra cheese. And number 9, the Colt. Scott Coulter will drive. Scott Coulter drives 9, the Colt in the 4th. In race number 5, number 8, R.J. Hooker is scratched. Race 5, scratch 8, R.J. Hooker. In race number 6, number 3, Mercenary, the driver will be Louis Waugh. Louis Waugh will drive 3, Mercenary. And the trainer should read Isaac Waxman. Isaac Waxman trains 3, Mercenary. In race number 7, number 1, Jackson Storm, Travis Cullen is not going to be driving, so we have a driver to be announced, TBA on the 1 and the 7th. Races 8 and 9, no changes, no changes. Races 8 and 9, which means there is a change in the 10th. In fact, a few. Scratches of 5 major race, 7 journalistic, and a rate, just a program note, 8 Ideal Jet scores the trailer post. Once again, reviewing races 1 and 2.
Absolutely.
Race number 1 has no changes. And race number 2, number 8, Bet You Love Me. Well, we are now 17 minutes to post time, and time to welcome in our co-host and handicapping expert, Robert Ray Jr. Robert, we have a few technical glitches tonight with the graphics, so you're going to have to be ever strong tonight to pick up the slack. And I notice we have 7 different top selections in our win selections tonight, so it could be interesting.
All right. Well, it is a wonderful Wednesday. right, we've got just about 7 minutes, so the horse will be moving out on to the track for the opener at Grand River Raceway on a wonderful Wednesday night, and then time that is for to talk about the early pick five with a guaranteed pool of $2,500 and a low takeout of just 15%. And we'll start off in race number one, where I'm going to go three deep with the 1, 3, and 6. Do like the post position for the one, muscle up the goal, does have some speed there. Concern maybe, this one might, stale date a little bit. Also has been a bit steppy before off the switch. So I'm going three deep though with the 1, 3, and 6. A 6 right now. It's Tijuana Sealster is the favorite at 4-5. Race number 2, 4 deep with the 1, 4, 5, and 6. I think that one looks like a wide open affair. The horse that I'm really interested in is the 4 Charmbo Stormy, one that I think might offer some value too. 12-1 in the morning line, maybe not that price, but probably be a decent number in there. Race number 3, I'm going to single up the 3 Gotta Habit. This is a full brother to Honest Streak, Breeders' Crown champion. Pretty awesome that we get to see this horse make his lifetime debut right here at the River off a real nice qualifier at Mohawk Park on May the 26th. For Luke Blais, Determination, Louis Philippe Bois aboard. He's my single, and I think that he'd probably, I think he's the most probable winner on the card. The only question is 3-year-old trotter, half-mile surface. If he stays flat, I think he wins. Race number 4, 2 deep for me, the 2 and the 4. The 2 is YS Better's Legacy, one that I think does have a chance at what should be a nice price. The 4 Squadron Sealster looks like the clear one to beat, though. Race number 5, 2 deep again for me with the 1 and 5. That's Bar Brawl with Rail Control and Tyler Borth. The 5 is the Great Reset, who's been in top form for Lauren House this season, but still 0 for 5 with 4 on the board. Finishes $9.60 for my 20-cent ticket. Let's see what Gary Guy has in store for us tonight.
Well, I saved some money for a little later in the card because I didn't spend as much, and actually one less horse in the first race. I only have the 6 and the 1A. So we have the same 2, but I'm minus the 3. In the second race, we differ. I went all in on Armis Ashley from the inside, and just think that Armis Ashley might be able to get the job done. Race number 3, I do hear what you say about number 3, Gotta Habit, but, well, I still want to see it. And so I also have a couple others, Warwi Yuri and Eustachio. Race number 4, well, we both like 4 Squadron Sealster, but I added the 7 instead of the 2. Well, the 7 is scratched, so now I'll take the 9. I'll take my second choice, 9, the Colt, and Scotty Coulter driving, and Scotty's had success with the Colt. So the 7 extra cheese, not cheese for you. And in race number 5, we both see it the same way. 5 on top, the Great Reset, and backed it up with 1 Bar Brawl. So $4.80, Rob. No cheese for you.
All right. Well, Gary is, being a little more frugal than yours truly tonight. But I heard the audio sounding better, so that tells me that the audio runs away when my ugly mug hits the camera. So maybe we'll just keep it off screen tonight. But you've got 4 minutes to map out your winning wagers for this early pick 5. Again, guaranteed pool $2,500. Low take 15%. We'll come back after the post trade and break down race number 1.
Field for race 1 on parade. 1, Muscle Up the Gold, Preston Shaw for Joe Shaw, Patricia Gibb. And to Give Me Carrots, Phil Houdon for Jen Lucier. Number 3, She's Under the Radar, Samuel Fillion for Ashley Lenvoy and Gino Toscani. 4 is Toscano Girl, Jay Harris for Caitlin Graham and Cheryl Cherry. 5 is Alcina, Jason Ryan for Camilla Christoforou and Coyote Wind Farms. Number 6, Tijuana Sealster, Colin Keller for Jacob Roberts and Triple S Equine. And 7, Halo at 7, Talbot for Connie Chisholm and David Chisholm. Field of 7, race number 1. Let's get a look at this field. And Rob, we flipped to the top 2, 1 and 6. We have it in reverse, and we'll start with your top one, 1, Muscle Up the Gold. Fans are having the same dispute here between the 1 and 6, but you did settle with Muscle Up the Gold.
I did. I put her on top, Gary. And you know what? Pole position. She's got a lot of early speed. She showed that at Northfield Park. A lot of nice lines down there, actually, in Ohio. Last time faced much tougher. You finished 6th, got beat by a wide margin. Now we'll race to the barn at Joseph Shaw. Has Preston Shaw aboard. I think this looks fantastic on the track right now. This is a nice trotting mare. Over 22 last year. 6 for 14 this year. She's figured out how to get to the winner's circle, and I think that she is the most probable winner in this opening leg of the Pick 5. But a little bit worried, she gets a little bit hot at times, and worried about a miscue on the gate. That's why I didn't single her. So I'm going 1-3-6, but I do think she's the one to beat.
Number 6, Tijuana Sealster. I might be biased because, of course, I called those 3 wins in the last 4 starts, and I thought she really looked fine.
Yeah, and you know what? You can't really take much away from her. You can say, well, she's got post 6 tonight here at the River, but she did win from post 5 last time at Flamborough Downs. Her only defeat in her last 4 races there came from the 7 hole when she got parked the route and still threw in a pretty decent effort to only get beat 2 lengths in 5th. So, I mean, she looks pretty good on the track as well right now. She does have snap speed off the switch. She's going to have to use that tonight because, if she wants to get around ones like She's Under the Radar and Muscle Up the Gold, she's going to have to blast off the switch. So I think she is, one of the ones to beat in here. And if you're looking for better value, yeah, you'd probably lean in that direction at 5-2 versus 6-5 on Muscle Up the Gold.
Number 5, Alcina, raced against Tijuana Sealster last time out and was beaten 3 1/4, but at least was second. And you do see good form coming in, a couple of top 3 finishes, and overall on the year has raced reasonably well.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Alcina ever since she first stepped out on the racetrack. I was chasing her a lot in the Horse Players Journal without success, over 7 last season, and she's 2 for 13 this year, and kind of a camera shy type, but one like you said is always kind of in the mix. So Alcina is one that I do think has a chance here, but I would say just on her racing style and her overall record, she's more of a horse to use underneath the exotics. I think I have her for 4th, and I actually put She's Under the Radar up for 3rd.
Oh, I guess maybe I looked at it incorrectly because, I know what I did. I went with my 3rd pick ahead of yours, so you're right. We have it in the reverse order. So normally I go with your picks first because you're the handicapper. But let's talk about 3, She's Under the Radar, and why you think she is the one to use ahead of 5, Alcina.
Yeah, well, listen, you've been, I think you've been getting the better of me on the opening 2 nights here at the River. So that's okay, Gary. We can go with your pick first. But She's Under the Radar. I just thought last time, back at the barn of Ashley Lenvoy, real solid effort at Flamborough Downs. Post 2, went to the front, healthy margin throughout. Absolutely crushed, really. So you're thinking now, okay, she's facing tougher, but why can't she go with these, right? I mean, last season, 1 for 12, facing off against many, horses that, would absolutely, trounce this group. 6 on the board finishes that season, 71,000 made. I'm thinking she might be able to just make the transition to this level and do so without much trouble. So I thought she'd be the value on the board. She is right now at 6-1, and one that I was using just as a potential bust out in the pick 5.
If there's a potential sleeper, 7, Halo at 7 was a very fine 3-year-old. And hasn't really kicked in yet this year, although did have a good start 3 races ago at Flamborough.
Yeah, she's one that I would say I'd kind of put on my watch list for this race. I can't get too excited about post 7 and post 8 just yet, especially on the trot. But I do think she's one to watch. I was very fond of her younger in her career, and obviously Tyler Borthaboard, you got to take notice of her tonight.
Well, it is a field of 7 for race number 1. They're taking up their positions. It'll be Muscle Up the Gold and Give Me Carrots on the inside. She's under the radar. Toscano Girl and Alcina in the center. The outside, Tijuana Silter and Hello at 7. It's a field of 7, first of 10 dashes on a wonderful Wednesday at the river. Giddy up. Here they come. And they're at the start of the rough, and Toscano Girl is going to drive Halo at 7. Alcina, Tijuana, Silter, Muscle Up the Gold on the inside. Give Me Carrots, and she's under the radar. But right now, it is Toscano Girl. Alcina continues to drive. Alcina, now we see Alcina on the lead. Toscano Girl is second. Tijuana Silter is third in the early action. Then Muscle Up the Gold. Halo at 7. She's under the radar. And then back further is Give Me Carrots. They roll past the opening quarter, and right now it is Alcina who's got the lead. Alcina leads in racing position. Second is Toscano Girl. Then it is Tijuana Silter third, and Muscle Up the Gold is racing fourth, and then it is back to Halo at 7. She's under the radar, and Give Me Carrots, and they race their way off the turn. The field comes on towards us. Alcina with a lead of about 2.5 lengths over Toscano Girl. Tijuana Silter third. Muscle Up the Gold is racing on the inside and is scooting up the inside, racing fourth, and then she's under the radar. Halo at 7 and Give Me Carrots. 58-1 is the halftime. And it is Alcina who's got the lead. Alcina, Toscano Girl, Tijuana Silter on the outside, braving it first over and getting closer. Muscle Up the Gold is racing fourth on the inside. Halo at 7. It is Alcina. Tijuana Silter, though, is getting a little bit closer. Off that half of 58-1, they hustle to 3/4. Alcina with a lead. It's a diminishing lead. It's down to a head and now a nose, and now no lead at all. Tijuana Silter comes on to grab the lead. Alcina second, Toscano Girl third. Halo at 7. Muscle Up the Gold is still fifth. And then Give Me Carrots, and she's under the radar. 3/4 in 1:28. And it is Tijuana Silter as they come on down the stretch ride. Tijuana Silter. Toscano Girl. Tijuana Silter trying to put away Alcina as well. Charging late is Halo at 7. Tijuana Silter wins it. Toscano Girl was second. Halo at 7 third. And then finishing fourth was Alcina. 1:59-2. Tijuana Silter was just as sharp as what I've seen of late of her, Rob.
Yeah, she was. And you know what? I think we're going to put this one ahead of some of those efforts, Gary, because I mean, this was a real effort she had to work for. She gets away off the gate. Usually a front stepper settles in, comes first over, grinds down the leader Alcina, who usually is one that, when she gets to the lead, can kind of fend them off. Gets past that one, forges to the front in the lane, and then has to take on a couple of closers late in Toscano Girl and Halo at 7. So that was a real nice effort. Chalk another one up for you, right, Gary?
Well, look, last year I got the early lead on you, and then I saw your taillights through the second half of the meet. So we're just going to keep a little low profile here because I know how things eventually will go. You know who did race well? 5 Alcina.
Yeah, she did. I mean, she went to the front. I mean, which I wasn't really expecting from her, but she's shown that in the past. She got there. Obviously, couldn't hold off Tijuana Sealster. I was actually impressed with the one you were kind of intrigued by, the 7 Halo at 7. Tried to blast off from post 7, had to kind of take a hold. Right, not easy to kind of start and stop like that, and then ended up racing a real respectable third. So I think that's one we're going to keep an eye on for next time. Like I said, we put her on the watch list tonight. Now she continues on that going forward, and we'll hope she draws inside next time.
Well, in this one, the inside 3 post positions don't hit the ticket, so it is a 6-4-7-5. And coming back in front of us, number 6, Tijuana Silster. 4-year-old Muscle Mass Bay Mare by Triple S Equine, trained by Jacob Roberts, and Colin Kelly is called the winning driver. 5th win this year, 7th lifetime. Tijuana Silster, 1:59-2. The first race payout 6 Tijuana Sealster. 830, 410, 360. 4 Toscano Girl, $12, 370. 7 Halo at 7, 310. $2 exactor, $58.90. Dollar try, 102.35. $5 superfecta, 289.75. Field for the second on parade. 1, Miss Ashley, child number for Stephen Davis. Number 2 is Ribbon Ridge, Daryl Thiessen for Bud Sinclair and Ross Holmes. 3 is Brookdale Gray, Scott Quiller for Steve Watson at All-Star Farms. And number 4 is Charmbro Stormy, Brett Madonna for Sheldon Rose. 5 is Ms. Megan Sparkle, Ryan DeRoche for Shayna Toll. Number 6, Sporty Lil Vixen, Mike Horner for Doug Wilson and Mark Horner. Number 7, Infinity Sealster, Jay Harris for Caitlin Graham, Steve Mihalik, and Cheryl Cherry. 8 is scratched. 9 is Little Mary. It's Colin Kelly for Mike Salas and Link Stable. Field of 8, race number 2. Let's get a look at this field. And Rob, you went to number 4, Charmbro Stormy on top, my second choice, and one that certainly had a good year last year. We'll see if it can come forward here. That last race, though, at Flamborough, I wasn't overly impressed with that one.
Yeah, I like Charmbo Stormy here mostly, Gary, because obviously you had a little bit of time off now, right? So I'm hoping that can rebound from a couple of efforts that leave a little to be desired. But that's against Open Claiming Company, so I mean that's against significantly tougher horses than what she has to face tonight back in the condition claiming ranks. And if you go back to when she faced condition claimers, she's won 2 of her last 3. So I certainly think that she's going to much prefer the company she keeps tonight. I think she looks okay on the track right now. I knew she wouldn't be, close to that 12-1 morning line price. She's 9-2. She's taking some support, but I thought horizontally in the pick 5, maybe even the pick 4 or 2, she'll go off at a bigger number. So I just looked at this race and thought that I didn't really want to take a short price on anyone. I thought the one Armish actually would take all the support, and I wanted to side with one that might give some value, and that's what she's giving right now at 9-2.
Well, 1 Miss Ashley, even money in the board, and I went alone on this one in the pick 5, and so I guess I'm taking a bit of a stand. But you saw that last race at Mohawk. 54-3 is not a bad speed, but the finish well out of it. The race went a lot quicker.
Yeah, and you can't fault her for that. I mean, she's facing a lot tougher horses. Baby Bonita, she rose her game significantly in that effort. First time for Joe Pereira. American Ticket and Sunday Afternoon are both, pretty decent horses as well. And they're like, mid condition, maybe sometimes lower condition horses at Mohawk Park. And that's going to typically, beat up on a condition claiming type, which is, certainly nothing against Armish Ashley. It's just too tough last time, 53-1. There's a reason why she was that price. But now, back against condition claimers, you see her last efforts against those. They're all first and seconds there on the page before that 8th. And I think that, with the rail control, you've got to like your chance. She's going to push out of there, probably try to cut it. I just thought 4-5. I looked at this field from top to bottom, said I don't want to really take 4-5 on anyone on a win ticket, and certainly don't want to be, married to one that sure of a price in the pick 5 or the pick 4. So I thought this looked like a race where we might see a bust out, and that's why I spread it a little bit.
Number 5, Ms. Megan Sparkle. I didn't know what to make of her. She's got just 2 wins in the past 24, but has been able to make the top 3 this year in half the starts, and the last couple were good. New barn for this start.
Yeah, new barn. Maybe there's a reason for some change there, but yeah, the last 2 efforts is really what made me use her, because she is one that does have a little bit of gate speed. Now, granted, her last 2 were from inside post. Now she switches out to post 5, but I've always kind of thought this horse, had a little bit of ability, and when she does get put into the race, she usually makes a good account of herself. And this doesn't look like the toughest group from top to bottom. So I wanted to have her on the ticket, and 9-1 right now. That's certainly a pretty good number on a horse that I think that if she did draw inside, she'd be a much shorter number on the board. So things will have to go her way, but I certainly think that she's not out of this.
I think the price is a little high on number 6, Sporty Little Vixen, 12-1.
I agree, and she is pretty as a picture. Me and Sugar Doyle always marvel at how pretty she is when she races at the raceway in London. Got off to a hot start in her career. Has kind of tailed off a bit now as she's had to face tougher horses, but she still hit the board right in 10 of 18 this season, and she's a versatile type in the way she races. So she gets the right kind of trip, races off the helmet. She can be right there at the wire. I agree. 11-1, I think, is a big overlay on her.
Well, we'll see exactly how it unfolds. One Armis Ashley is bet down to 4-5 and has an inside position with Ribbon Ridge and Brookdale Grace in the center. Chambro Starmy, Miss Megan Sparkle, and to the outside, Sporty Little Vixen, Infinity Silster in the second tier, Little Mary. Field of 8, race number 2. It is post time. Here they come. Field for the second race is at the start of the rough. Armis Ashley, Ribbon Ridge, Brookdale Grace, and then to the outside, Ms. Megan Sparkle. Then it is back to Chambro Stormy, Little Mary along to the inside, Sporty Little Vixen, and Infinity Silster. Armis Ashley's got the lead as they work on into the backstretch, and Ribbon Ridge is going to find the pocket now. Brookdale Grace third, then Ms. Megan Sparkle. Chambro Stormy is racing fifth. Then we've got Sporty Little Vixen, Little Mary, Infinity Silster is trailing the field. Armis Ashley dropped all the way down to 1-5 on the board and leads on past the opening quarter. Ribbon Ridge at 25-1's rolling second, and Brookdale Grace is third. Then Ms. Megan Sparkle and Chambro Stormy, Sporty Little Vixen, Little Mary, and Infinity Silster. Off the turn they come. They head up to the half. Armis Ashley is controlling things, looking for a second panel breather off a 29-1 opening quarter. No challengers coming. Ribbon Ridge is racing second. Brookdale Grace is third. Ms. Megan Sparkle is fourth. 59-4 halftime. A 30-3 second panel for Miss Ashley. Into the backstretch they go. Ribbon Ridge, Brookdale Grace to the outside. Ms. Megan Sparkle. Chambro Stormy is still on the inside and is racing positioned fifth. And then scooting on the outside, Infinity Silster. Then it is back to Little Mary and Sporty Little Vixen. It is Armis Ashley, and here comes Ms. Megan Sparkle now. Up to challenge as they race their way onto three quarters, but it is right now Armis Ashley by a neck, and on the outside, Ms. Megan Sparkle is inching forward. Now they stride together. Three quarters, 129-3. Ms. Megan Sparkle has taken a slim lead. Armis Ashley tries to rally to the inside. Ribbon Ridge is on the inside third. Then Brookdale Grace, Infinity Silster, and Chambro Stormy on down the stretch where they come. Armis Ashley, Ribbon Ridge up the inside. Miss Ashley and Ribbon Ridge. Miss Ashley's going to win it. Ribbon Ridge was second. Infinity Silster third. Miss Megan Sparkle fourth. 159-2. 1-5 on the board. Dropped a long way down. And, well, it was a little tougher in the lane that maybe I would have liked for 1-5.
Yeah, I mean, it looked maybe a little bleak on the turn, right? That's when I thought maybe our Miss Ashley might be, caving in a little bit on the engine, because Miss Megan Sparkle was, kind of headed her for a moment, but she got repelled pretty quickly in the stretch, and even Ribbon Ridge, perfect two-hole trip, passing lane opened up and really couldn't challenge too much. When the half clicked up, Gary, I said this race is over. Unfortunately, for me spreading out a little bit in this race, because when a horse like Armis Ashley, who is a speed type, gets that kind of a breather and no challengers until the third quarter of the race, it's pretty much lights out.
Yeah, it's well, we talked about it on Monday night. That early speed. It held up a lot early last year, and it seems right now this meet, the early speed is the key.
Yeah, it definitely is. Early speed inside posts, right? I mean, that's where we're typically going to be looking, and this is one that I thought had a big chance to win, but I just didn't like the price that was, probably going to be offered on our Miss Ashley, and she ended up going out there and getting the job done. But was happy to at least give it a whirl. Got excited with Miss Megan Sparkle briefly there, but you could see she was going to get repelled when it came down to the wire.
And Ribbon Ridge 25-1, an inside post position that got the pocket trip and stuck around for second.
Yeah, so kind of surprising. I mean, obviously the vet scratch sick and missing a bit of time, boosted that price. 5-2 morning line goes off at 25-1, and really just left out enough to fall into the pocket, and decent second, one to watch for next time back on the regular rotation.
And Infinity Silster did come from a long way to get onto that ticket. There is one Miss Ashley, 4-year-old Ashley's Big Guy Bay Mare, owned and trained by Stephen Davis. Tyler Moore is the winning driver. It's the third win this year, sixth lifetime. Miss Ashley. Second race prices one Armis Ashley 270, 220, 210. Two Ribbon Ridge 1045, 70. Seven Infinity Silter 460. $2 Exactor 1930. Dollar Drive 5640. Dollar Super 187.10. And the double of 6 and 1, $13. The second race order finish from the top is a 125-647, 3 scratch 8. That's 125-647, 3 scratch 8 on the bottom. Fans noting in race number 4, we have a pair of claims. Number 4, Squadron Sealster. Race 4, number 4, Squadron Sealster has 2 claims entered. Field on post braid for the third. 1, Vimy Ridge Venti, Austin Sorry for Steve Lauren and Pomazzetti. Number 2 is Eustachio, Colin Kelly for Matt Dupuy, Lance Wells, and Lyndon Wells. 3 is Gotta Have It, Louis Bois for Luc Bland, Determination. 4 is Dusty Lane Kalani, Chathamore for Gary McDonald. 5 is Sunset Epona, Pat Hudon for Glenn Lyons and RAW Equine. Number 6, Last American Exit, Andre Goy for Kyle Bossens and Ephraim Zook and Edward Zare. Number 8 is Warwick Yuri, Mario by Antoshov for the stable. 9 is Audacity of Hope, Bo Brown for Chad Hill and Kimberly Jensen. And number 7 is Amber Ornament, J.B. Renault for Julie Walker. Field of 9, race number 3, Maiden Trotters. And, you know, oftentimes we don't want to take a short price on a Maiden Trotter, Rob, but there's one here that certainly gets our attention. 3, Gotta Have It.
Yeah, I think it's pretty hard not to give this one your attention, especially in this spot. This is a full brother to Honest Streak, who was both a Wellwood and Breeders' Crown champion at 2. And the qualifier, Gary, I thought was very impressive at Mohawk Park. I mean, ended up getting past Sala with ease in the stretch. That horse has already, broke his maiden and did so in 28-second flat on the end of it. And the question is, how is he going to do over the half-mile surface here at Grand River Raceway? We got to see him go a little bit quicker right now. We'll watch the score down for a moment here, but the ears are up. Looks better the faster he goes. But again, I thought he just had to stay flat to get the better of this group.
Well, and he certainly looks pretty smooth and looks like he would be staying flat. I'll tell you who looked also really good was Eustachio in that last start from the trailer post at Flamborough.
Yeah, definitely one that you would look at and think it was a pretty solid effort. The horse that he actually beat, Patrick Rules, is one that I've got picked for third coming up on a card at Mohawk Park. Actually, it might be tomorrow night's card, which was canceled. So actually, that one we'll have to wait for next time. But did hold that one off by a head. Thought it was a real solid effort to break his maiden. And I mean, he's obviously done something. That Gotta Have It hasn't done yet, right? Which is, first of all, race in a pari-mutuel race, and second of all, break his maiden. So you got to like one that's already got to the winner's circle when you're talking about a non-winners of 5,000 lifetime event, and we see that one click down to 5-2 now. So I think it's an effort to move forward from, no question about it. I just couldn't give him the edge over Gotta Have It in this spot.
You knew who I was afraid to use was one Vimy Ridge Venti, but you used this one for third. I see the big back half last time out in that qualifier, but I also see those X's on the dance card.
Yeah, obviously the brakes are a big concern, right? For me, it was almost going through it and two things: try to stay inside and looking for one that has a reason to improve. Obviously, this one took a little bit of money, lifetime debut at Western Fair on May the 5th, and then since then, or in that effort broke stride, then broke stride again. You did mention the back half last time. Obviously, that's against Righteous Resolve. You're not going to think this one's going to get anywhere close to that one. Got beat by 23 lengths, but just hoping one that can, get off the gate from the pole position, sit a trip, and get a piece of it. 17-1. Obviously, you're looking to boost up the exotics underneath.
And there's for Dusty Lane Kalani, again one with breaks on the dance card, but also a couple of good starts at London.
It's pretty hard, right, when you look at this field top to bottom to find horses without breaks. That's one of the reasons why I went to Got a Habit, thinking that if he stays flat, he can get the better of this group. But yeah, Dusty Lane Kalani is one that a couple of third place finishes at the Raceway in London last time, made a break over Hanover. Did take a lot of support in that effort. And 23 to 1, that's not a bad number on one that I think has every right to hit the ticket, as long as she can stay flat.
I used number 8 Warwi Yuri for second. That's a bit of a reach from post 8, but I was really impressed with Warwi Yuri when I saw this one racing at Flamborough Downs. Did a really nice job from the trailer post April the 23rd. We'll see if he can overcome post position 8, and he too has a break 2 races back. It's a field of 9. Vimy Ridge Venti Eustachio Got a Habit on the inside. Dusty Lane Kalani, Sunset of Hona. On the outside, Last American Exit, Amber Ornament, and Warwi Yuri. And the second tier, Audacity of Hope. Field of 9, race number 3. They've reached the top of the stretch. It's a field of 9 for the third. There at the start of the route, Vimy Ridge Venti Eustachio Got a Habit. Warwi Yuri's going to bolt from the outside and come out smartly, and is now racing fourth as they work on around the turn. On the inside, Vimy Ridge Venti, there goes Eustachio now. Eustachio in search of the lead. Got a Habit is now racing second, and down into the safety lane, Vimy Ridge Venti, and now Sunset Opponent is third. Warwi Yuri is going to find a seat on the pylons, racing position 4. Then Dusty Lane Kalani, Audacity of Hope, Last American Exit, and Amber Ornament. And Vimy Ridge Venti is going to be all the way back to trailing the field. And now popping out and coming is Dusty Lane Kalani. 30-2 the opening quarter. Eustachio's got the lead. Dusty Lane Kalani is racing second. Got a Habit is third. Then it is Sunset Opponent. And Warwi Yuri is racing fifth and is going to pop out as they race their way off the turn and come on towards us. And now Eustachio getting challenged by Dusty Lane Kalani as they're about even as they come to the half, but Eustachio inside advantage. Dusty Lane Kalani. Got a Habit is watching those two battle from third. Then it is Sunset Opponent. Warwi Yuri is back on the inside. 101 and 3 is the halftime. Into the backstretch they go. Eustachio is still moving well at 5-2 on the board. Dusty Lane Kalani. Got a Habit is within striking distance, and Warwi Yuri now is making a big move. And then it is Sunset Opponent, and they head on towards 3/4. Eustachio Got a Habit on the inside is able to claim second. Dusty Lane Kalani might have flattened out. Warwi Yuri is now going to split on through, or now actually is going to have to pop out wide. On the inside, Sunset Opponent. It is Eustachio Got a Habit. Here it comes Warwi Yuri, closing ground and is racing third. Eustachio Got a Habit still has got some work to do, and Eustachio goes off stride, so now Got a Habit is going to inherit the lead. Warwi Yuri is going to be second as they come to finish. Got a Habit, Warwi Yuri, Vimy Ridge Venti, and then fourth was Sunset Opponent. 203 and 2. Got a Habit kind of inherited the win, but nonetheless, it is a win at 1-2, Rob.
Yeah, it did, definitely inherited the victory, but looked pretty strong, by the way, in the final strides there. I'd like to have seen how that would have played out, because Eustachio, ended up, kind of shortening stride there, stutter steps before that break, and he was right on his helmet there. So I think that we might have still seen this one go by, because he had some real nice speed in the final strides in his qualifier. But hey, nonetheless, a victory's a victory. And like I said, you see that trotting through the wire there, Gary. It was pretty strong.
Got to mention also the Inquiry Sun as it pertains to one Vimy Ridge Venti and that break heading to the quarter, racing on the first turn. Also, I inherited the exactor because 8 Warwi Yuri then moves up and finishes second, my second choice. I'll tell you, Warwi Yuri is actually one you're going to see some things from. He looked good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was one that you figure if he can get off the gate and into a decent spot, he certainly has the goods to go with these. Maybe even get the better of them if he doesn't have to face one like Got a Habit, and that's what he did. He used that early speed. I mean, it's so tough to get away well from post 8. He got away reasonably well and then made a nice move and to get into second. Probably inherited that spot, but still. a solid effort. And Sunset Epona, I think Sunset Epona third at a big number. I mean, with Sashio missing the exotics, it's certainly going to add a lot of value to a race that was probably going to see some very small payouts originally.
What also impressed me with Warwa Yuri is besides the early speed, then he had to make a move with Dusty Lane Kalani backing into him, and he kind of had to jerk him out three wide, and he was able to stay pretty solid there, and then showed some burst.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it was a good effort, but you know what? I'm still, intrigued to watch Gotta Habit come forward here. I thought he looked really good on the end of his mile, and I think we'll see good things from that pupil of Luke Blay.
Well, Gotta Have It is back in front of us. Gotta Have It is a 3-year-old Cantab Hallbay gelding owned by Determination, trained by Luke Blay. Louis Waugh, the winning driver, Gotta Have It, makes his career debut, mile of 2:03 and 2. Fans note the judge's ruling that one Vimy Ridgeventi did not violate the braking regulations. The top four 3815 will stand. The third race payouts 3 Contahapit 310 230 230. 8 Warwieri 390 320. 1 Vimy Ridgeventi $18. $2 exactor $860 try $3670 super $438.55. Field for the third. Order of finish 351 649 827. That's 351 649 827. Fourth is up next. Scratched is 7 extra cheese. No cheese in the fourth, a field of 8. Note 2 claims in 4 Squadron Sealster. Field on parade for the fourth. One Delightful Magic, Paul McKenzie for Crystal and Nother. And to YS Better's Legacy, Brent McDonough for Jim Lee. Number 3, Fiscal Policy, Mike Horner. Drives and trains and owns. And number 4, Squadron Sister, Tyler Borth for Lindsay Kerr. 2 claims entered. The owner is Sally Charlton, Lindsay Kerr, and Derek Romano. Number 5 is Dirty Lil Piglet, Natasha Day for Cassidy Schneider and Colonel Schneider Jr. Number 6, Rangers Shadow Brown for Chad Hill and Kimberly Jensen. 7 is Scratched. 8 is Snake Lauren House for Angela Clark. And 9 is the Colt, Scott Coulter for Doug Bowens and Russell Taylor. Field of 8, race number 4. Well, Rob, both of us agree, and so do all the fans, that 4 Squadron Sealster with 2 claims entered is the one to beat. Strong connections as well.
Yeah, definitely strong connections, and comes into this off great form, right, Gary? And also, you got to like it when a horse is claimed. There is no tomorrow, so we're going to see this one go out there and show his absolute best. But last time, a nice victory, similar classification at Flamborough Downs. And if you go down there, you'll see there was a winner, even in non-winners of 30,000 life and open non-winners of 30,000 life on May 15th at the Raceway in London. That went off at 30 cents to the dollar in that one. Looks sharp in the track right now. Listening to everything Tyler Borth has to tell him, and I think that clear one to beat, but nothing sexy with the price on the board, right? 1 to 2.
13 wins since January 1st of last year. The next best on the page is 9, the Colt, with 6. Your second choice, though, is number 2, YS Better's Legacy, blind to blinkers, and last race was better, and yet the equipment change.
Yeah, I like the equipment change. Blind to blinkers, you draw inside. Don't want to waste an inside starting spot here at the river. We talk about it, right? Inside speeds where you want to be. And this horse has shown some pop, throughout his career. You might not see it in recent efforts, but if you go further back, last season, there's a lot of starts where this one would go to the front, blast out of there, and a couple that, you see him go all the way on the engine. Those 2 victories are both on the front end. So I just thought that you look at him and you see him get back to the claiming condition ranks. Last couple were against Open Non-Winners Company. This looks like the right spot for him to go forward and make a good account of himself. He's 7 to 1 right now, about the price I expected. Almost put him on top, but I thought maybe that's a bit ambitious against Squadron Sealster. But he is the one I'd be looking for an upset. If that one was going to get beat.
5, Dirty Little Piglet, didn't look all that good at Mohawk in the last 2 tries there, but found Sarnia very much to his liking.
Yeah, I went to Sarnia and did pretty well, and a 10 claimer, and in 2 back, that's an optional 10 as well, but pretty soft group on that occasion when he ended up going all the way in the engine from the pole position and scored by a neck. Last time though, that'll be Tiger. It's a bit of a stale date on this one, May 20th, but that'll be Tiger. I think that, a pretty decent racehorse. And this one was overland pretty much the entire mile before finishing second to that one by 2 lengths. And we've seen some good efforts from Dirty Little Piglet, even here at the river. So yes, only 2 victories over the last couple of seasons, but one that I think, should be more than competitive against this group with his best day. 10 to 1 on the board right now, and certainly one that can get a big piece of it.
And number 9, the Colt, I use this one for second. He can race from extremely well off the pace. We'll see if there's any pace to run at, but he's had some really good moments.
He has, and he was one that I was super intrigued by when he first came out, made his lifetime debut last October as a 6-year-old, right? So you wonder when a horse, makes his debut at the age of 6, you say, okay, well, obviously he's had something that, he's been around and still making his lifetime debut at that age. And he was a winner in his second start, back again in his third start. Hasn't won with tremendous frequency, since then, but has still, made a good account of himself in several spots, and now will be making his third start for trainer Doug Bowens, so off the claim. So I think that this one is one you got to consider from the second tier. I wish he had his nose on the gates, but I guess, he might be able to work out a decent trip and certainly get a big piece. But I couldn't put him on the wind end in here, but I think he certainly will land somewhere in the exotics.
And I did use 6 Rangers Shadow in the 3rd spot. I thought this one has raced reasonably well, but in the bottom class at Flamborough, we'll see what Beau Brown has with Ranger's Shadow. Long shot play at 22-1 would look nice on the ticket. It's a field of 8, race number 4. Taking up their positions, Delightful Magic, YS Better's Legacy. In the center, Fiscal Policy, Squadron Silster, and Dirty Little Piglet. And to the outside, Ranger's Shadow and Snake, and the second tier, The Colt. It's a field of 8 for the 4th race. There at the start of the rough, YS Better's Legacy, Delightful Magic, Squadron Sealster, then Fiscal Policy and Dirty Little Piglet, then Ranger's Shadow, The Colt, and back trailing the field is Snake, and they work their way on into the backstretch. YS Better's Legacy's got the lead. Squadron Sealster working on the outside, wanting to come on and clear to the front over YS Better's Legacy. Squadron Sealster down for Tyler Borth is going to stride up and take the lead. YS Better's Legacy second. Delightful Magic is third. Then it is Fiscal Policy, Dirty Little Piglet, and back further is The Colt. And then we've got Ranger's Shadow, and Snake is trailing the field. Squadron Sealster 2 to 5 of the board. YS Better's Legacy is racing position second, and then Delightful Magic third. Fiscal Policy is fourth, and Dirty Little Piglet. Then it is The Colt, Ranger's Shadow, and Snake, and they race off the turn. Squadron Sealster leads it. YS Better's Legacy is right there enjoying the view in the pocket. Delightful Magic is third, and then Fiscal Policy. Now The Colt is gaining ground and is going to get the cover of Fiscal Policy on the outside, and then it is back to Dirty Little Piglet, and then we have Ranger's Shadow, and Snake is back trailing the field. Squadron Sealster off a 59-second halftime with a 30-1 second panel, and racing second YS Better's Legacy. Fiscal Policy now is moving up, and The Colt is getting a little closer on the outside and looks ready to take over fourth and grab it from Delightful Magic, and has done so. The three-quarter time is up in 1:28-1. Trailing 3 are Ranger's Shadow, then Dirty Little Piglet, and Snake it is Squadron Sealster. Fiscal Policy, YS Better's Legacy, and The Colt as the field turns for home. Squadron Sealster is still game, though, and leads as they come on down the stretch drive. Squadron Sealster, Fiscal Policy, YS Better's Legacy up the inside, but Squadron Sealster is strong. Then Fiscal Policy, YS Better's Legacy and Fiscal Policy, and then The Colt. 157-2. Squadron Sealster took all the coin and then lived up to it. Really looked good.
Yeah, he did. I mean, as good as advertised, right, Gary? I mean, he raced, fantastically. Well, he goes to the lead, and I mean, really, it was race over at that point. I mean, on his current form, he certainly figured to get the better of this group. That second quarter breather obviously helps things out. But YS Better's Legacy, the one that I was, maybe hoping had a chance to beat him, got the trip I wanted, right? 2-hole trip. And certainly decided to go to the pass lane and give it the old try in the stretch, but it was never getting to Squadron Sealster, but a decent second. So plays out the way I thought, but it's gonna be pretty chalky in the end.
And Fiscal Policy certainly outraced his odds, 25-1.
He did, for a horse that hadn't hit the board in 8 starts this year, he first over a long way to a favorite, and when they were kind of accelerating too in that third quarter, made a good account of himself to claim that show spot at a big price. Horse that I thought raced pretty well earlier on last season, now has come back with a nice effort. So again, getting back into regular rotation for that one after missing a week coming into this one, and had quite a few scratches as of late as well. It'll be one to watch going forward.
And the Colt did go off as the third choice on the board and wound up making the ticket, at least on the bottom, finishing fourth.
Yeah, he did. He got a piece of kind of what I expected from him, right? He's got to work from the trailing post, so the trip has to work out. And maybe he did get to race off a helmet, which I think is, right in his wheelhouse. But again, just finished fourth tonight. But that's a horse I'm always intrigued by, and I'll keep a close eye on going forward.
Well, and also the pace scenario doesn't work to closing off of the half of 59. The mile goes in 57-2. But it is Squadron Sealster, 2 to 5 the board, and lived up to it. Coming back in front of us, number 4 Sports Rider Gelding, a 4-year-old sports rider Bay Gelding. Sally Charlton, Lindsay Kerr, Derek Romano, the owners. Lindsay Kerr is the trainer. And Tyler Borth, the winning drive. 7th win this year, 14th lifetime. Squadron Sealster, victorious in 157-2. The fourth race payouts for Squadron Sealster 290, 210, 210. 2. YS Better's Legacy 330, 253. Fiscal Policy 770. $2 Exactor $6 Dollar Track 1945. Dollar Super 52.95. Fans note the driver change in race 7. 1 Jackson Storm will be Jay Harris. Jay Harris drives the 1 in the 7th. Fourth race order finish from the top says 623 175 scratch 84. That's 623 175 scratch 84. And The claim before Squadron seals to the new trainer, Mandy Archer. Field for the fifth on parade. One bar brawl. Tyler Borth for Desiree Jones and Gino Toscani. And to his completed promise, J.B. Renault for Julie Walker and Stephen Titus. Three is headline maker Pat Houdon for Warren Casely. Four is Handsome Hank Tyler for Caitlin Graham. And five, the Great Reset, Lauren House drives and trains and owns. Number 6, Q-Tip, Daryl Thiessen for Bud Sinclair. Number 7, the Champ, Ryan Holiday for Dave Holiday and Caroline Holiday. And 9, Impressive Dude, Louis Waugh for Eric Nadeau. Field of 8, race number 5. Let's get a look at this field. And, well, Rob, the fans are originally, the 5 and 1 were pretty close in the odds, but now the fans have gone pretty heavily on one bar brawl. But we both went to 5, the Great Reset, Lauren House. Rob?
Yeah, the Great Reset's been a horse that, is really probably deserved to get to the winner's circle this year, Gary, but still 0 for 5. 4 on the board finishes, and last time just missed by a neck in an OSS Grassroots contest at Flamborough Downs. Went a long way in the lead, got beat by a neck by Deadline Hall. And again, I looked at this race and thought that there wasn't much between the two, but even though Great Reset is younger at the age of 3, I just thought he was a little more sturdy over the small track and even the big track for that matter. So that's why I went in that direction. I think the odds will tighten up come post time. I'll still take the 5-2 over 3-5. That's for sure right now. And even if it was closer, like 2-1, 6-5, I'd still be in that direction.
Now, one bar brawl took all of last year off and did race as a 2-year-old $72,000 yearling purchase, who's supposed to be a good horse.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a good horse and has had a few, shining moments. Obviously, he was taking on OSS Gold types so when he first stepped out on the racetrack and even, tried his luck in the Wellwood and the Champlain at the age of 2. And this season, got off to a pretty hot start, had a couple of victories in his first 3 tries at Mohawk Park. No worse a second over that span. That was for trainer Gary Murner. Hasn't had the same successes of late. For his current barn, but has also made some breaks as well. That's what kind of worried me about Bar Brawl. Like pole position to work from. Sometimes though, in a horse that can make breaks, that can be a little bit worrisome on a half-mile surface. So I just thought that I'd give the edge in the other direction. And right now we're seeing the odds tighten up, but I think odds on is just too low on the one Bar Brawl, even with Tyler Borth aboard.
Number 6, rather 9, Impressive Dude has been a model of consistency, impressive consistency.
Yeah, I think so. And, trailing post to work from behind Bar Brawl, that one does what he's, you think he's going to do, which is leave out of there really hard from the pole position, then should be able to get away well enough off the gates. And like you said, it has been consistent in the sense that 4 on the board finishes and 4 tries this season, was a strong winner, 3 back the last time that part owner Louis-Philippe Waugh was aboard. He's back in the sulky tonight. And last season, 5 of 10 in the top 3. So a horse that, with the right kind of trip, you've got to think that he certainly can, make his presence felt in here. I guess where I kind of got a little bit concerned is, trailing post trotter, not always my favorite spot to leave from. But if Bar Brawl gets away cleanly, he's going to be in the right spot.
You used 3 headline maker and class drop, is that it?
It is a pretty significant, move down, right? Because now when there's a 50,000 life, granted getting beat by a wide margin, now racing for the optional tag, to race in now there's a 2 or 25,000 life. I've always liked headline maker. Yes, shut out top 3 finishes in 13 tries this year. But if he can just fall off the gate in a decent spot, hold his position, he might be able to land at the bottom end of the try or the super and the high 5. And the price right now is right at 23-1.
We both had the same top 3, but my 4th one was for Handsome Hank, and I thought some flashes with this one. Handsome Hank, Tyler Moore for Caitlin Graham, has made the top 3 in 7 of 14 on the year. It's a field of 8 for the 5th race. They're taking up their positions. Bar Brawl, Completed Promise, and Headline Maker on the inside. Handsome Hank, the Great Reset, to the outside, Q-Tip, the Champ, and second tier, Impressive Dude. It's a field of 8 for race number 5. Field for the fifth race has reached the top of the stretch. The fifth race on a wonky sky Wednesday here at the river. Here they come. And Barbarol on the inside, Handsome Hang, Completed Promise, and the Great Reset is also driving, but Barbarol is able to brawl right out and get the lead. Barbarol is firing hard early, leads by 4 or 5 lengths, and then Completed Promise, and the Great Reset is a rather impressive dude is racing third, then Headline Maker, Handsome Hang, the Great Reset is back in sixth, and then Q-Tip is back there in seventh, and then it is back to the Champ. Barbarol at 4-5 on the board. Opening quarter 28-2. It's not much of a brawl right now. Barbarol is just swinging alone and leads it by about 5 or 6 lengths, and then Completed Promise and Impressive Dude, Headline Maker, Handsome Hank, and the Great Reset is racing sixth, trailing pair Q-Tip and the Champ. And they race off the turn. Barbarol, 4-5, leads on past the half, and Completed Promise second. Impressive Dude third. Then Headline Maker wheels to the outside and is positioned fourth, and now quickly moving up the Great Reset. But the Great Reset has a great amount of work to do as Barbarol, who is just wheeling it on top off a sharp half of 57-2. Barbarol leads by about 7 or 8 lengths, and then Completed Promise, Impressive Dude, and the Great Reset. And then well back Headline Maker, but Barbarol just continues on and is toying with this field right now. Impressive Dude is taken over second. The Great Reset is third, and then racing on the inside, fourth is Completed Promise, 3/4, 126-2. And Barbarol boldly takes the field to the top of the stretch. Impressive Dude, the Great Reset, and Completed Promise. The field is spread out. Barbarol is slowing a bit now off of that sharp 3/4, 126-2. Barbarol is going to get home to a closing Impressive Dude and win it by a length, and then the Great Reset, and then it was Completed Promise. Well, maybe Handsome Hank is close for fourth, but it wasn't. Well, Barbarol, it got a little close at the end, but it never looked like it was in threat at all. Barbarol, what a dominant effort, Rob.
No, and now he goes on the gallop now, right? A couple of steps throughout the mile. I mean, it was dominant. I mean, he just bottomed out the field, right, Gary? I mean, those are really legit fractions over this surface, no question about it. And even on the going into the backside for the last time, he even kind of blew that turn a little bit, went about 4 lanes wide before getting straightened out by Tyler Borth, but it was just freewheeling, like you said, on the engine. And yeah, well, it did get closer late. It was never really in doubt. The money was right, took all the support at the windows, and goes out there and wins with pretty much ease at the wire.
Yeah, he really looked impressive on the track too. He's a pretty, I mean, yeah, you saw the few bobbles, but he's got some sturdiness.
No, he definitely does. I mean, he's a horse that's shown, flashes of really good things, right, throughout his career. And this was a confidence boost for him, right? He's been racing at Mohawk Park and has had some tough luck at a couple of his efforts, but now this is going to, get him back on the beam now. He should be feeling good about himself and might be ready to go take on those types again. It came out pretty logically, right? Impressive Dude, solid effort to be second at 7-1. The Great Reset, I mean, he was kind of in a pretty big hole early on. It was never going to get close to this one, but wasn't even able to stay with Impressive Dude. So a decent third for that one. But the race always kind of gets a little bit wonky, right, when one goes out there and bottoms it out like that. So we'll see what the Great Reset can do next time out.
It is a 1:95.24. Top 5 in race number 5, the Super High 5. Rolling back in front of us, one Barbarol, a 4-year-old muscle mass bay horse owned by Gino Toscani, trained by Desiree Jones. It's the 3rd win this year in lifetime for Barbarol. Mile of 157-1. The inquiry sign will go up pertaining to number 4, Handsome Hank, and a possible pylon violation on the final turn. Fans, the judge's ruling. The judge's ruling at number 4, Handsome Hank was inside of 2 consecutive pylons, but was not lapped on at the finish, and therefore no change in the order. The 5th race payouts: 1 Bar Brawl, 360, 320, 210. 9 Abreast Dude, 560, 240. 5 The Great Reset, 210. $2 Exactor, 1510. Dollar Trap, 1105. Dollar Pick 3, 3 of 3, 610. The dollar pick 4 is 1160. The pick 5, 4440. The fifth race, or a finish from the top down. 148 537 6 scratch 2. That's 148 537 6 scratch 2 on the bottom.
All right, we've reached the midway point in the card here at the River on a wonderful Wednesday. Just 2 minutes away until the horse is moving out onto the track for race number 6. But it's time for the late pick 5, newly added this season. A late pick 5 gets started right here in race number 6. And there's the ticket that I've mapped out. Affordable ticket. And it's going to start off singling the 3 Mercenary here in the opening leg. Note that the driver will be Louis Philippe Bois. The trainer is now Isaac Waxman off the claim on June the 4th. Going to single this one, hoping he finds, his old self. 32 lifetime wins, just over 200,000 made. Mercenary, the 3, a single for me in the opening leg. 4, 7, and 9 in race number 7. Looks like a wide open trotting type event. Made a little bit more difficult by the post draw. 7 Magic Wanda, I think, is one to certainly watch out for in there. Difficult post to work from. The 9 goaltenders on my ticket, along with the 4 off road Hanover. Race 8, a horse I'm very fond of. The 7 Better Style will be my single in that one as well. I think this one, has been racing fantastic in the claiming condition level and is going to come right back for a price tag tonight. Post 7 to work from, but I think is one that can get the job done. The 1, 2, and 4 in race number 9 for me, thinking that the 4 is one you have to give the edge to, but the 1 and 2, Fastnet Rock and its long story, both have chances as well. Final leg, the 1, Bugsy McGuire, and the 3, Rock and Bow. Rock and Bow, the 3 in race number 10 is one I'm very intrigued by tonight, getting Paul McKenzie back in the bike. But just $3.60 for a 20-cent ticket for yours truly, and we'll see the horses coming on the track shortly, and we'll talk more about race number 6 after the post break.
Field for the 6th on parade. 1, Chappie's Boy, Lauren House for Paul Chapman. Number 2 is All Go No Woe, Ryan DeRoche for Ken Roy Scaife. And 3, Mercenary, Louis Watt, drives for Isaac Waxman and Tess Waxman and Frank Cirillo and Maureen Taylor. 4 is Corona on the Beach, Scott Kohler for Courtney Bishop and Ron Nobes. 5 is High Flying Jamie, Paul McKenzie for Jay Polifrani and Jimmy Polifrani. Number 6, Shadow of Lindy, Colin Kelly for Ted Knight and Inglewood Stable. Number 7, Giddy Up Max, Travis Henry for Vic Putty and David Shea. Number 8, Bearcat Willie, Mike Horner, driving, training, and owning. And 9 is Somewhere in Tuscany, Steve Houdon for Laura Toscani and Gino Toscani. Field of 9, race number 6. Well, Rob, we both called an audible here. We both had 3 Mercenary as our third choice, but then finding out Louis Watt driving for new trainer Isaac Waxman kind of bumped this one up. And, well, the fans are with us with Mercenary right now 2-1, and I think we'll drop.
I think so too. He was the lower price earlier on in the betting, Gary, and I think we're going to see that number shorten up come post time. It looks good on the track right now. It looks pretty lively right now, and Louis Philippe was driven him once before. It was a long time ago though. It was back in 2018 when he had one start for Richard Moreau at Mohawk Park and ended up finishing third in a dead heat in that contest, pacing his mile and 52 and change. And you know what? Claimed by Isaac Waxman, who's a high percentage trainer, especially in these types of situations. And I just thought that, this looks like a great spot for him to, get back to the winner's circle. Mercenary, he's a 32-time winner. He's a classy veteran, over 200,000 made. And like I said, the pre-race appearance is a good one. Looks like the right group for me to get the better of.
Well, number 1, Chappie's Boy, one that I did not use on my ticket, and you went second with Chappie's Boy, 9-2. You get an inside post position, Chappie's Boy.
Yeah, he's the worst. 4 starts this season so far, right? No top 2 finishes. But I think that the rail here's got to help his chances. He's a horse I think does his better work when he does get forwardly placed. Last time in London, got away 7th off the switch. Didn't have much of a chance on that occasion. Maintenance Man ended up being the winner of that one. And, with rail control tonight, I think he's going to just, push off the switch and try to set a favorable journey. Chappie's Boy is one that, I would have been more than happy, to have on top. Right, but before the changes on the 3 Mercenary, and I think that tonight he should be trying to sit like a 2-hole trip or trying to get away with the early lead and release one. So Chappie's Boy for me is definitely one you want to have in your exotics.
We just saw 2, All Go No Woe. Lately it's been more woe than go, but venue change.
Yeah, venue change, and post should help, and a horse that I've seen race pretty well, on the Bs in the past. Obviously, the O for 59 in the last couple seasons is a big concern for the win end of it, but hitting the ticket is certainly something he can do, and he picks up shares with frequency, so I think you can use him in the try in the Super.
And a quick thought on Somewhere in Tuscany from the trailer post.
I actually thought that this horse should take more action than this. Some decent efforts 2 and 3, back to be third at Flamborough Downs. Last time broke before the start, tossed that one out of there, and every line he's got before that certainly fits in with this group.
Well, it is a field of 9, race number 6, and now 3 Mercenary has dropped down to 6-5. Chappie's Boy, All Go No Woe, and Mercenary on the inside. Corona on the Beach, High Flying Jamie in the center. The outside, Shadow of Lindy, Giddy Up Max, and Bearcat Willie. And the second tier, Somewhere in Tuscany. Field of 9, race number 6. Here they come. The 6th race pacers are at the start, and they're off. Mercenary, Chappie's Boy, Algona, Whoa, and Corona on the Beach is also flying early, and Corona on the Beach is getting out quickest of all and is going to clear the front. Chappie's Boy is second away, and then Somewhere in Tuscany, and Algona, Whoa is currently going fourth, and then Mercenary right now is fifth in the early action. Then it is back to High Flying Jamie and Shadow of Lindy, but Corona on the Beach was able to belly up to the bar early and take a lead of about 4 or 5 lengths. Chappie's Boy is second, Somewhere in Tuscany third. In front of Algona, Whoa, Mercenary is still just back there in mid-pack fifth, and then High Flying Jamie, Shadow of Lindy, and then further back the trailing pair, Bearcat Willie and Giddy Up Max. They race off the turn, and Corona on the Beach at 13-1's got the lead. And off a 27-2 solid opening panel, they come up to the half. Lead is now down to a couple of lengths. Chappie's Boy second, Somewhere in Tuscany third. Algona, Whoa, now Mercenaries moving on the outside and is gaining ground rapidly. And then it is back to High Flying Jamie, Bearcat Willie, and then Shadow of Lindy and Giddy Up Max off a 57-3 halftime with a 29-4 second panel. Corona on the Beach leads. Somewhere in Tuscany is second. Chappie's Boys racing third, and Mercenary is wheeling up a closer second over fourth, about 3 1/4 off the lead, and then also moving is High Flying Jamie, and then it is Algona, Whoa, 3/4 up next for Corona on the Beach, who still has the lead, 1:26 and 3/3 time. Corona on the Beach, Somewhere in Tuscany, Chappie's Boy, Mercenary now is going to pull out 3 wide. Mercenary now is driving out wide for Louis Bois and coming on gamely, and Mercenary out wide now challenging Corona on the Beach. Mercenary has taken the lead. Corona on the Beach on down the stretch route they come. Chappie's Boy up the inside. Mercenary is going to win in a wrap to the finish now. Then High Flying Jamie was second, Somewhere in Tuscany, and Corona on the Beach. Mercenary, mile of 156 and 2, a relaxed first half, but then really started coming. And I guess about when you get to the 3/4, you're feeling, yeah, I think he's going by.
Yeah, he certainly looked like he was going to float past them, Gary, and it really was with the ease in the stretch. You can see Louis Philippe was got a handful still as he accelerates away to the finish. And I love the drive. Right, he tried to leave out a little bit, and then saw everyone else was going, and just kind of settled in and said, "Okay, we'll watch the early action and then attack them later." It's exactly what he did. Easiest kind of winner. You know what? I actually thought the price was going to plunge down, like one of those ones that right off the gate plunges down to like 2 to 5. Stayed at even money.
One that you disregarded was 5 High Flying Jamie didn't use. I used High Flying Jamie for second, and he came with Mercenary on his back and managed to get by and pick up a second.
Yeah, he did, and I mean, I would have, preferred Somewhere in Tuscany selfishly 23 to 1 because that was the one I was using underneath at a price. But no, High Flying Jamie, much better effort this time. Getting to the river, after getting beat by a wide margin last time at Mohawk Park, and he did follow up that winner nicely, and he got the play spot. So it ended up kind of coming in the way the action played out, 2 to 1 on that one. We're going to have a bit of a chalky exacta here in race number 6.
Actually, Corona on the Beach is one to keep an eye on for later because 13 to 1 on the board, and that was a very solid effort. Eventually gave it up, but still very fine.
Hasn't raced in a month too, right? I mean, you don't usually see a horse that hasn't raced in that time that's going to blast out there like that, and certainly was lively in the early going and ended up, still finishing fourth, didn't stop, and listen, a horse like Mercenary wins by a wide margin. The rest of them were, still all kind of fighting it out there somewhere in Tuscany. Just got up to beat that one for the show spot. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one getting back on a regular schedule.
It comes in at 3.594. And back in front of us, 3 Mercenary, 10-year-old Some Beach Somewhere Bay Gelding, owned by Tess Waxman, Frank Cirillo, and Maureen Taylor. Isaac Waxman is the trainer. Louis Bois, the winning driver. It's the second win this year, 33rd lifetime for Mercenary, 156 and 2. The sixth race of payouts, 3 Mercenary, 410, 240, and 220. 5 High Flying Jamie, 280, 290. 9 Somewhere in Tuscany, 620. $2 exactor, $12.10 try, $34.45. Super 100, $84.65. The sixth race, or her finish from the top, 571 429 863. That's 571 429 863 on the bottom. Field for the 7th on parade. 1 Jackson Storm, J. Harris for Allen Fair and Elizabeth Fair. Number 2 is Peter Crown, Scott Golder for Steve Watson. And 3 is Atalanta Express, Cullen Kelly for Katerina Bosniak and J.J. Stables. 4 is Off-Road Hanover, Anthony Hunt for Dr. John Chandler. 5 is Goodness Gracious, Preston Shaw for Joe Shaw and Patricia Gibb. Number 6, Gerard Talborth for Gerard Damaris and Triple S Equine. And number 7, Magic Wanda, Scott Young for Jerry Duford and Homestretch Holdings. 8 is Royal Leaf, George Ketros drives and trains and is the owner. 9 is Goaltender, Samuel Filia for Rafael Barassa and Francois Morin. Field of 9, race number 7. Well, let's get a look at this field. And Rob, we've had a rather chalky night. I admire that you went against the chalk here. Off-Road Hanover, especially off those last couple lines. But class drop, and I'm cheering for you because we got to get away from all the chalk.
Yeah, it's all about the class drop here, right? I mean, 0 for 20 in the season, 6 on the board finishes. Post 7 last time, Flamborough Downs got beat by a wide margin. Who won that race? Sicario. What would Sicario be in here, Gary? Odds on, right? For sure. Lucas before that, the Fixer, Final Dreams Weekend, all horses that you would be more than happy to back against this group. It looks good on the track right now. I think he can get off the schneid here in his 21st start of the season. And, again, post 4 is not the worst spot to work from. And I thought a lot of the contenders are towards the outside of the gate, including the 7 Magic Wanda.
Well, and Magic Wanda is one that last year I took to win for me and was able to get rewarded. But I know that Magic Wanda is a horse that you're not enamored with all of the magic just yet.
Well, I have her picked for second, and I was actually just going to mention that exact victory, because that's the interesting thing about Magic Wanda here, is that she was a winner from what post? Post 7. Win last year, June 15th, so we're about a week away from that, and it was in a tougher spot. Non-winners of 4,000 last 3, and it was aboard Scott Young. Scott Young actually drove her in 5 consecutive outings here at the River. She was no worse than 4th in those and had a couple of second-place finishes as well. So, the more and more I looked at that, you think, okay, well, she all of a sudden, that's got to boost her up, right? In this spot, but I still just couldn't get there on top, from post 7. And I thought she would take support like she is right now at 2-1. Last time, though, you got 7-1, right? You're not getting that number today.
No, 2-1, and might even drop. We'll see if Goaltender, or rather if Magic Wanda is the favorite. Going to Goaltender next. This is one that did come from off the pace last race from the trailer posted Flamborough, but sometimes if you've backed a horse a few times and it hasn't worked out for you, you sour on them. I've soured on Goaltender.
Yeah, it's understandable, right? Last time, getting away 8th in the trailing post, ends up finishing 6 beaten 3 lengths in a similar class to this one. But, second try, getting down against softer competition, and I thought this looked like a better spot for Goaltender. Maybe, he can turn around 0 for 11 of the season. That's another horse in my top 3 that's 0 for the year. But, last year certainly hit the board with frequency, and he still has time to turn it around. So I think he's one that's got a big chance in here. 10-1's a much bigger number than I expected. I did not see the one Jackson Storm getting bet off the board at 3-2.
Yeah, Jackson Storm, J. Harris driving. 3 Atalanta Express is one that drops and might be a sleeper at 13-1.
Yeah, a horse that, is always kind of in the mix. 5 runner-up finishes this season and only 1 victory. But, post 3 today is one that can kind of race off a helmet and I think has a chance, to certainly make her presence felt in the late stages. Jackson Storm, still taking money at 8-5. just thought this wasn't the best class transition for this horse, but maybe from the rail tonight we'll see better things.
And I should mention I did take Jackson Storm as my second one in behind Magic Wanda. Magic Wanda is 5-2, a co-favorite with Jackson Storm. And the gate is rolling for the 7th. Jackson Storm, Peter Crown, Atalanta Express on the inside. Off-road Hanover, goodness gracious. On the outside, Gerard, Magic Wanda, Royal Leaf, and the second tier, Goaltender. It's a field of 9. Race number is 7 on a Wednesday night at the river, and here they come. They're at the start of the rough. And it is Peter Crown, Atalanta Express, Jackson Storm. Magic Wanda fires from an outside post position. Magic Wanda and Scott Young dueling with Jackson Storm. Jackson Storm has got the lead. Magic Wanda second. Then Peter Crown, Atalanta Express, and Royal Leaf is skating on the outside, racing fifth. Then is back further to Goaltender, Off-Road Hanover. And goodness gracious, but Jackson Storm at 2-1 stormed out to take the lead. Magic Wanda 7-5 is rolling second, and then up and skating on the outside, Royal Leaf now is sharing third with Peter Crown to the inside. Then Goaltender is racing fifth, and Atalanta Express is sixth, and then it is further back to Off-Road Hanover and goodness gracious and Gerard as they work their way off the turn, and the field comes on towards us, but it right now is Jackson Storm and Jay Harris with the lead. Royal Leaf on the outside. Magic Wand is filling the pocket and is still second. Royal Leaf third. Goaltender fourth, and Peter Crown is fifth. Off-Road Hanover, Atalanta Express, and then goodness gracious and Gerard, and on into the backstretch off a 59-3 halftime and a 31-second second panel. Jackson Storm, Magic Wanda's getting the trip. Royal Leaf on the outside is still there digging. Royal Leaf at 23-1 has got second. Magic Wanda third. Goaltender is racing fourth, and then Atalanta Express and Peter Crown. Off-Road Hanover has to pass right now 6 to win, and then goodness gracious as they work their way on around that final turnoff, 3/4, 130-1, and it is Jackson Storm, Magic Wanda waiting for the passing lane, and then a wide Goaltender saving his best for last, and then Royal Leaf, and then a wide Atalanta Express. Jackson Storm, Magic Wanda now looking to dart into the passing lane. Magic Wanda coming up the inside against Jackson Storm. Magic Wanda, oh, Magic Wanda blasts up the inside to win. Jackson Storm was second, then it was Goaltender, and 3 across the track for 4. 2, a 1-1. Magic Wanda. June is the magic month for this one.
It is, Gary. You know, and it was interesting. It kind of turned it around for her last season, right? Got back into the win column here at the river in a tougher class too. We talked about earlier, and then continued on and raced really well over this surface for 4 more efforts. Maybe we'll see some more of her. She certainly has room to come up the class ladder. Perfect steer by Scott Young, right? I'll probably get a message from him later on saying, hey, you can't believe that I doubted him again on Magic Wanda, because he left hard from post 7, slipped right into the pocket, and flew up the passing lane late. And I mean, she was a going away winner. Great steer by Scotty.
Yeah, 7-1, and Jackson Storm did live up to the wagering, and actually did all the work.
He did. I mean, the only thing I'll say is that you're 28-3. You worked hard to get there, and then the middle half, right? I mean, Royal Leaf was out there working first over, but it ended up kind of being a pick. But really, Goaltender, still didn't have much of an excuse, coming second over and moving 3 wide. So kind of an interesting race like that, right? I mean, end of the day, Jackson Storm, turned in a decent effort. Goaltender kind of hung out there, and Royal Leaf, after being first over a long way, and I know a friend of the show, Sasha, loved him tonight on Twitter. He was posting about Royal Leaf 23-1. Not a bad effort to be fourth after being first up a long way.
Yeah, tough post for Royal Leaf, but I cannot bet a Leaf in June because just no experience with winning in June for Leafs.
Oh man, that's gonna hurt all the poor Leaf fans out there, Gary.
Well, I'm one too. It's just sometimes you just gotta accept reality. They're good up until about, when did it end this year? Early May.
Yeah, it never gets past there.
But number 7, Magic Wanda, got past them all up the passing lane to win. Back in front of us, 7, Magic Wanda, 6-year-old Cadabra Bay Mare, owned by Homestretch Holdings, trained by Jerry Duford. Scott Young had the answer in the seventh race. First win of the year. Magic Wanda, seventh win lifetime. The seventh race pound, 7 Magic Wanda, 480, 290, 280. 1 Jackson Storm, 360, 270. 9 Goaltender, 410. $2 exactor, 1580. Dollar try, 4010. Dollar super, 267.90. The seventh race order finish from the top, 286-579-143. That's 286-579-143 on the bottom. Field on parade for the 8th one is Woodmere Gaelic. Nick Boyd drives and trains and owns. Number 2 is 2 for Tripping. Tyler Moore for Yvette Gallant and Ivan Gallant. Number 3 is Mitch. Scott Ray for Jack Ray and Jack Racing. And for Feisty Like Fire, Jason Ride for Brett Lester and Rebecca Williamson. Five, Delightful Feeling, Colin Kelly for Kyle Boston and Steve Colvin. Number 6, PH Jim, Daryl Thiessen for Brian Lee and Edward Gork. Number 7, Better Style, Brett McDonald for Taylor Fritz and Shen Go. Number 8 is Milo Man, Child Borth for Kevin Botts. And 9 is Promise Me a Win, Jay Harris for Herb Holland and Vincenzo Starangis. Field of 9, race number 8 starts the late pick 3. And let's get a look at number 7, Better Style, who is a slight favorite. You got a favorite from post position 7. You didn't shy away from the post, though, Rob. But strong connections, Brett McDonald, Taylor Fritz.
Yeah, strong connections, and most importantly for me, this horse has won each of his last 5. Went in for a claiming tag, Gary. So I really think that this will be a great spot again for Better Style. I know the post is obviously a more tricky one, but we're going to see a score down right now, and looks like Brett's going to move him with some intent right now in this score down for Better Style, and I think he's got enough tactical speed to get spotted off the switch. We just saw that with Magic Wand in the latest race. Leave out of there, get into a decent spot off the gate, and I think we might see something similar tonight for Delightful Feeling. But this is one that doesn't need the engine. Certainly race from off the helmet, even just off the pace, and I think that Better Style is one that should be able to double up and win 6 in a row now in the claiming ranks.
We both used Delightful Feeling for second, but I have a different one on top than you. Delightful Feeling, Colin Kelly, Kyle Bossons.
Yeah, this is one that, getting back, to a spot that you have to respect Delightful Feeling, right? Racing in a condition claimer. This horse is only 3 starts removed from racing against no control in the Ontario, sired spring series. So that's certainly a whole different level of racehorse compared to what he's got to face tonight. Last 3 were okay. Second 3 back as a favorite. Disappointed in that one. Last time Prospect Series, ended up, finishing 5th in a race won by Delightful Leader. Extra Cheese was second. So I think Delightful Feeling's got a chance in here, but I couldn't put him ahead of the likes of Better Style off that last effort at the Raceway.
Number 4, Feisty Like Fire is my top one. I think this one just might fire hard. You see 2 of the last 4 went to the front. A win and second beaten ahead. Last race post 8 didn't kick in till late.
Yeah, and what we do with those ones here at the River, right? We just crossed it off the program page, back half 56 and 2. And you know what? I toyed with putting this one into second anyways, and even struggled a little bit, not putting him on top. Also from the barn of Brett Lester, right? A trainer that's was winning in bunches recently. Was a winner 2 back in the condition claiming race, but that was a softer spot that I think than what we've seen the likes of Better Style racing against overall. So that's why I couldn't get there over that one. But I think Feisty Like Fire, you're right. I think we're going to see this one go forward off the gate and get a big piece of it.
Woodmere Gaelic might be a trip horse. Liked post 1 at Kawartha 2 races ago.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? The rate post 7 last time, you can throw that one out. Back to the pole position. Opened up with some money. Now 12-1. Definite value underneath.
Well, right now the fans are trying to decide between 5, Delightful Feeling, and 7, Better Style. But I decided to go with 4, Feisty Like Fire. Rob's on the 7, Better Style. Taking up positions, Woodmere Gaelic 2 for Tripping, and Mitch, center of the track, Feisty Like Fire, Delightful Feeling. To the outside, PH Jim, Better Style, and Milo Man. Second tier, Promise Me a Win. Field of 9, race number 8. Here they come. And the field for the 8th race. is at the start of the rough. Woodmere Gaelic, feisty like fire, 2 for tripping Mitch and PH Jim as they drive it into that first turn. Woodmere Gaelic has the lead. Woodmere Gaelic, feisty like fire, is racing second. 2 for tripping is third. Then Mitch is racing fourth, and PH Jim drops back. Then Promise Me a Win, Better Style, Delightful Feeling, and then it is back to Milo Man. Feisty like fire continues to fire and is going to come on now and clear to the front. Feisty like fire, 9 to 5 on the board. Woodmere Gaelic at 15 to 1 is racing second, and 2 for tripping third. Then it is back to Mitch and PH Jim fifth, and racing sixth is Promise Me a Win as they work on around the turn. And Better Style is racing back there in seventh, and then Delightful Feeling is eighth. 27-3 opening quarter. Now looking for a second panel breather is Feisty Like Fire and Jason Ryan. And cruising up to the half, no one's pulled to the outside as Woodmere Gaelic is the only one close, and it's sitting in the pocket. Halftime was 57-4. At 30-1, second panel. Mitch now moves on the outside, and Mitch has come on to take over third. And then blowing the turn, Promise Me a Win. Racing fourth is 2 for tripping. PH Jim is fifth, and Better Style has to do better, has a lot of work to do. 57-4 halftime. Feisty Like Fire. Here comes Mitch on the outside now, wanting to fire up alongside Jason Ryan and Feisty Like Fire. It is Mitch and Feisty Like Fire. Mitch now sticks a nose in front. Feisty Like Fire gets a little urging now to wake up and get rolling. 3/4, 127-1. Mitch on the outside. Feisty Like Fire is fighting back. Woodmere Gaelic is racing third. And then it is Better Style. Feisty Like Fire now has fought back and is flashing that feisty nature as they come on down the stretch drive. Feisty Like Fire and Mitch as they come on to the finish. Mitch keeps coming though. Feisty Like Fire on the inside. Mitch on the outside. Mitch got by Feisty Like Fire, Woodmere Gaelic, and then Better Style. 157-3. Mitch at 4-1 finally was able to wear down Feisty Like Fire. Yeah, you got to give it to Mitch. That was a game effort, tracking down the one that got the breather there at the half. Feisty Like Fire.
Yeah, I thought Feisty Like Fire was going to be gone there, Gary. I really did. And you saw Mitch kind of collar this one. Then, he fought back on the inside, but Mitch would not be denied, just kept on coming at the wire. And last time, no winners of two, it's at Hiawatha. I guess I underestimated this one. It had been racing really well and picking up pieces, right? 1 for 15 in the season, but now gets his second victory, in his 4-year-old campaign. Nice victory for Mitch and Scott Ray.
Well, he used Mitch for fourth, but fourth isn't where he finished. He finished in front, and it's kind of you can't be disappointed when you Feisty Like Fire did everything right, just got caught.
Yeah, he went to the front. I mean, it was one that looked like that was his best path to glory, and I certainly thought that that second quarter breather would have been enough for him. Now, Better Style kind of got spun out off the gates, and then after that, he did kind of get jammed up briefly, but really couldn't really get anywhere near the top two finishers. So back to the drawing board for that one, and maybe he does need to be more forwardly placed, and he'll need a better post to do that from. So if he draws inside next time, I'll likely be back on him.
And then Woodmere Gaelic at inside post position with gate speed proved to get that one on the ticket.
Yeah, inside speed, from the rails is a horse you always have to use, and we typically see that, right? Those double digits that get a piece of the exotics underneath. Third place finish for Nick Boyd there. Woodmere Gaelic should help the exotics pay a little bit more.
It is at 3-4-1-7, and coming back in front of us is number 3, Mitch, a 4-year-old Stonebridge Terror bay gelding, owned by Jack Racing, trained by Jack Ray. Scott Ray with a winning drive, second win this year, and the 6th lifetime. Mitch, victorious in 157-3. The eighth race payouts: 3 Mitch, 1030, 480, 360, 4 Feisty Like Fire, 340, 291, Woodmere Gaelic, 660, $2 exactor, 31.40, dollar tribe, 98.30, dollar super, 431.50. Eighth race order of finish from the top down: 351, 286, 479. That's 351, 286, 479 on the bottom. Field on parade for the ninth one, Fastnet Rock, Colin Kelly for Matt Dupuy and Lance Wells, and Lyndon Wells and Jeffrey Rock. Number 2, It's a Long Story, Anthony Hunt for Paul Meegans and Saltwater Stable. 3 is Best Wishes Only, Natasha Day for Michael Neff. 4 is, appropriately enough, Mistress of the Dark, Jay Harris for Blair Burgess and R.A.W. Equine and James Walker. 5 is Frenchie Hanover, Paul McKenzie for Sandy Lawrence and Sean Irvin. And number 6, All-Star Megastar, Scott Ray for Kyle Rule. And number 7, Alexa Play Country, Tyler for Ron Waples Jr. and James Fullerton. Number 8, Sunglasses at Night, Scott Golder for Jeff Graham and Chase Graham and Jennifer Graham. And 9, Boom and Bust, Brent McDonough for Michelle LeBlanc and Carl Bagnell. Field of 9, race number 9. Let's get a look at this field. And, well, Rob, number 4, Mistress of the Dark, 3-1 on the board. This is one that, well, you do see some wins back in April, but since then things kind of gone a little dark on this one.
Sloppy track is allowing 2 seconds after that. Mohawk Park non-winners at 2, non-winners at 25,000 at the Raceway, and non-winners at 3 at Flamborough last time. Qualifier in between is decent enough, and against Righteous Resolve got beat 15 lengths to that one. Back half 58-2. This is non-winners at 12,500 life, so I think she fits in very nicely with this group, and is also one that has all kinds of speed off the gate if that gets summoned tonight by Jay Harris. So 3-1. I mean, I don't think the discrepancy stays where it is right now, but if it does, that's much better value in the 4 Mistress of the Dark.
Rob, my top one is number 2, It's a Long Story, but I didn't see this one being 6-5 on the board. Good, solid form coming in, but not 6-5.
I love his appearance right now. Looks really proud out there, head up. Looks very confident on the track, and It's a Long Story. Has had a nice little campaign after making a debut at the age of 3. 6 on the board finishes this season. Has got beat by a healthy margin each of his last 2, but was a winner by a head 4 back at Western Fair. So I think he's got tactical speed. He can push forward off the gate. I just don't think discrepancy in odds should be where it is right now, 3-2 versus 3-1. It should be closer in that. Like you said, he really shouldn't be getting bet that heavily, but in with a big chance, no doubt about it.
Number 1, Fastnet Rock is one I think that's interesting because I think he's showing improvement. And now inside post position. We'll see if there's some gate speed. If Colin can get this one off the gate from the inside, he can improve a bunch in here.
Yeah, and that's the key with him, right? We always talk about the pole position, and you always have to take a look at the horse there. And if they do have any early foot, they should be one that you use in the exotics at a minimum. And you're right, progressing form, right? Last 3 starts gotten better each time. Colin Kelly's aboard for each of those ones. Back in the sulky tonight, and I just thought that this looks like a group that he should be more than competitive against, as long as he can get off the gate in a decent spot. If he gets away where he's been getting away, he's going to be uphill to get a smaller share of it. But if he can get away, say 3rd at worst in here, maybe 4th, I think he certainly lands somewhere in the bottom end of the exotics.
Number 5, Frenchie Hanover is Ken Middleton's top pick, and I used this one for 2nd. But he was only good for a while at Flamborough, and then he tailed off badly after coming first up.
If you backed him in that start, I thought this would be one where you can take back some value on him, but it's not happening right now, right? She's actually just 5-2. She was 9-5 in that effort. Was parked a long way from post 7 before fading back to 7th. Really nice, efforts at the Meadows before that, and a decent second for this barn at Flamborough Downs April 30th. I kind of struggle with where to put Frenchie Hanover. I think a contender in here, but for me it was a smaller share, bottom end of the try or super. But again, it's going to come to where she gets away off the switch. If she can get forwardly placed, then obviously that's going to her stock rises in that situation.
Well, we both have the same top four, but in a different order. And you went to 4, Mistress of the Dark, who's 5-2. I've got the favorite. It's a Long Story at 9-5 as they are moving in behind the gate, and the gate is rolling. Fastnet Rock. It's a Long Story. Best Wishes Only. In the center, Mistress of the Dark, Frenchie Hanover. And to the outside, All-Star Megastar, Alexa Play Country, Sunglasses at Night. And the second tier, Boom and Bust. Field of Nine, ninth dash. Here they come. The field for the ninth race. Into the stretch drive, gathering speed. There at the start of the route, Mistress of the Dark. It's a Long Story. Frenchie Hanover, All-Star Megastar, and Alexa Play Country. But right now, Mistress of the Dark and Frenchie Hanover duel for the early lead. Mistress of the Dark and Frenchie Hanover stride for stride. And now Frenchie Hanover is going to move up. Frenchie Hanover is taking the lead. Mistress of the Dark is second. All-Star Megastar third. It's a Long Story is away to race from fourth. And then Fastnet Rock and Alexa Play Country. Best Wishes Only as they race on to the opening quarter. Then Sunglasses at Night as they race their way on past the opening quarter. Frenchie Hanover leads it for Paul McKenzie. That lead right now is about 2 1/4. Mistress of the Dark is racing second. All-Star Megastar third. It's a Long Story is rolling fourth, and then Fastnet Rock and Alexa Play Country. Then it is back to Best Wishes Only, Sunglasses at Night, and then trailing the field is Boom and Bust. But Frenchie Hanover and Paul McKenzie with the lead off a 29 opening quarter. Trots on past the half with a lead of 2 1/4 over Mistress of the Dark. It's a Long Story is going to go first over. Fastnet Rock broke stride on into the backstretch of a half of 1 minute. Frenchie Hanover, It's a Long Story moving on the outside now is alongside Mistress of the Dark. Those two dueling for second, but still on top and looking good is Frenchie Hanover. It's a Long Story is getting a little closer. Mistress of the Dark is third. Those three have separated on the rest of the field. Fourth is All-Star Megastar. Then Sunglasses at Night and Alexa Play Country. And they hustle up the 3/4. Frenchie Hanover, It's a Long Story, is shortening the lead now. And it's down to just about ahead. 3/4, 1:29.4. Frenchie Hanover, It's a Long Story. Mistress of the Dark is racing third. And then Sunglasses at Night and Boom and Bust came from last as the field turns for home. On down the stretch drive they come. It's a Long Story. Mistress of the Dark, those gonna roll on by and win it. It's a Long Story is going to be in a place photo with Boom and Bust, and then Fastnet Rock. Mistress of the Dark in 2:01 came flying late and got you a win, Rob.
Yeah, well, you just make it sound like this is my first win of the night, Gary. I mean, there's been a couple, scattered throughout the card, but hey, a decent one at that. I did not expect the price on the 4 Mistress of the Dark. I thought this horse would take a lot of support, and obviously did, take some going off of 5-2. But I thought that, she would have been the favorite on here because when she's been racing down at this level before, she's kind of won with ease, and that's all she needed to get back to the winner's circle. Nice little qualifier between starts to, stay tight and kind of get her ready for this effort. And, she converts at 5-2 today. And love the steer by Jay Harris. Didn't tangle with Frenchie Hanover the early going. And also didn't wait for the passing lane either. I get worried sometimes with the passing lane with trotters, especially young trotters. He actually went wide, and he knew the horsepower that he had. He just brushed by with ease.
You took it the wrong way. I know you pick a lot of winners. I didn't think that he was going to win when he was third, and up comes It's a Long Story to do with Frenchie Hanover. I really didn't see that horse coming back on, so you're right. It was a nice, patient drive.
Yeah, it was. And also a little bit of versatility for her as well. I'll be honest, when she landed the 2-hole early, I said, I was hoping she'd be kind of on a free lead and just kind of, win on the engine. But she showed, some versatility there, winning out of the pocket and rolling wide there. It's a Long Story, raced well to be second. Boom and Bust, one that, I didn't really see getting a piece, but should add some value to the try at 30-1 and third.
And came from last to pick up third, so impressive. The Inquirer pertains to that break on 1 Fastnet Rock and 4 Mistress of the Dark back in front of us, a 3-year-old Tactical Landing Bay filly. RAW Equine owns, along with James Walker and Blair Burgess. Blair's also the trainer. Jay Harris, the Green Arrow, victorious. 4th win this year. and lifetime Mistress of the Dark into a 1. Fans note 1 Fastnet Rock, determined to have not violated the braking regulations. 1 Fastnet Rock, the inquiry sign down, will stand forth. Ninth race payouts for Mistress of the Dark, $7.90, $4, $3.90. 2 It's a Long Story, $3.40, $2.60. 9 Boom and Bust, $14.70. $2 Exactor, $37. Dollar Try, $211.25. Dollar Super, $608.60. Ninth race or a finish from the top, 428-159-763. That's 428-159-763. 10th race next, scratches of 5 and 7. Note that Ideal Gent scores from the trailer post. Field for the 10th on parade 1, Bugsy McGuire. Austin Sorry for Rachel Andrew. Number 2 is Belichick. Tyler Borth for Rafael Baressa and Francois Morin. Number 3 is Rock and Bow. Paul McKenzie for Catherine Flanagan and Winters Racing. Four is hashtag Watch Me. Daryl Thiessen for Peter Finnegan and Sheila Lewis and Peggy Finnegan. 5 is scratched. 6 maintenance man detached today for Cassidy Schneider and Colonel Schneider Jr. 7 scratched. 8 is Ideal Jet scores the trailer post. Nick Boyd for Craig Bars and Norko Sokolovic. It's a field of 6 for the 10th and final dash. Let's get a look at this field. And Rob, I'd love to see us close out the night here with your top pick at a price right now. We'll see what it drops to, but 12-1 against a 3-5 shot. Rock and Bow, 12-1.
Yeah, this is a horse I've always been fond of, Gary, and I've tried this one quite a few times, and cashed a couple times too, and this one at a price when Paul McKenzie's aboard. There's one right there. February 2nd was a winner at Flamborough Downs. Now winners of 3,500 last 3. Was a winner at 13-1 on that occasion. John Flanagan was aboard in each of his last 2. Didn't have much of a chance getting away, off the gates. And this time around, now we get Paul McKenzie back to the bike, and I just like this horse's chances tonight. I think even going up against a shorter field even helps him a bit because he's probably at his best when he's coming from, just off the pace. So maybe less, chance that he gets into trouble. And he has had some trouble journeys for me in the past too. Last season, he finished 2nd and 3rd, with frequency, and times that I did bet him at a bigger number on the board. So 12-1. Listen, I'm okay with that price. I'm more than okay with that price. Was not expecting that number. And you'd just like to see him get a clean trip, and we'll see what he's got.
The one that's getting all of the love and not surprising, 4-5 on the board, Bugsy McGuire. A lot of backlash and did race in the preferred class and go to the front and race really respectably May the 8th.
Yeah, he did. And you know what? That's the thing about this race is that if he goes out there and does his thing and gets away with the lead like he should, I mean, rail control, he's supposed to blast out. And like you said, that preferred effort to finish fourth to Sea Laird, Ideal Perception. We saw what Ideal Perception did here on Monday night. So if he goes out there and races at his best, he's going to be tough to catch, and he, should be able to prevail in here. But I just wanted to look for a bigger number, and Bugsy McGuire deserves that tag right now on the board at 4 to 5, and he's a heavy favorite in the multi legs, and no surprise. So we'll see how it pans out. He is the likely pace setter, a probable winner, but we'll try to beat him with a big number on the board.
Next up is number 2, Belichick, and you can talk about the 2 Belichick because I'm a Bills fan. I don't want to talk about Belichick.
Belichick, yeah, well, that's understandable. I mean, one of the greatest head coaches of all time, though, right?
No,
So
no, no,
you
no,
got to
no.
at least give him
No.
that. Okay, well, winner at Clinton last time, hit the board in each of his last two. A horse that's a versatile type, but does usually like to come from just off the pace or even off the pace. 5 to 2 is too short for me. I thought he's got a chance in here, but I think that's way too short of a number.
Christine should have muted your mic when you said that. Number 8, Ideal Jet. Well, the trailer post won't be ideal, I think, for this one. Loves to get to the front.
Exactly. With the way the scratch has panned out, he actually would have been better off, keeping it, being the actual post 8, not the trailing post. He loves rambling out of there. I don't know how it works out from the second tier, but certainly the class of the field.
Well, Rock and Bow has fallen down to 6 to 1. We'll see if Paul McKenzie can rock with that one and take down a favorite. Bugsy McGuire is 4 to 5 on the board and with position on the inside along with Belichick. In the center, Rock and Bow, hashtag watch me to the outside maintenance man, the second tier, Ideal Jet. It's a field of 6, 5 on the gate, and 1 a little late. They're into the stretch 5. Here they come.
Giddy up.
Field for the 10th race. Nearing the start, giddy up. They're at the start of the round. Bugsy McGuire, hashtag watch me. Belichick is racing third. Then Maintenance Man, Ideal Jet, Rock and Bow on the inside as they race their way into the backstretch. Bugsy McGuire's got the lead. Belichick is racing position second. And then Ideal Jet is now on the inside third. Then hashtag watch me. Rock and Bow. And then back trailing the field is Maintenance Man. But Bugsy McGuire fell to 2 to 5 of the board and leads Belichick as they race past the opening quarter. 28-4, that opening panel. Third is Ideal Jet. Hashtag watch me is racing fourth, and then Rock and Bow and Maintenance Man is back there trailing the field. They race off the turn off a 28-4 opening quarter. Bugsy McGuire and Austin Story with the lead. And that is Belichick and Tyler Borth right there racing in the pocket. Then Ideal Jet on the inside. Here comes Rock and Bow rolling on the outside now and quickly surging up, wanting to challenge Bugsy McGuire. Belichick is racing third. Ideal Jet is fourth. And then on the outside, Maintenance Man on the inside. Hashtag watch me. Bugsy McGuire off a 59-3. Halftime with a 30-4 second panel breather. It is Bugsy McGuire, Rock and Bow second, chipping away. Belichick is racing third. And then it is Ideal Jet, Maintenance Man, and hashtag watch me. It is Bugsy McGuire. And on the outside, Rock and Bow is rocking a little closer. Belichick is third. Ideal Jet's racing fourth, and Maintenance Man. And hashtag watch me, but Bugsy McGuire now is dug in sharply. Belichick is reclaimed second. Rock and Bow is rocked back to third. And Ideal Jet on down the stretch drive they come. And Bugsy McGuire's on fire on down the stretch and destroys the field now. Belichick is second. And then Rock and Bow and Maintenance Man 156-1. Bugsy McGuire gets a half in 59-3. And although it got a little competitive, that 59-3 kind of said maybe you could turn the page.
Yeah, it was pretty much race over at that point, Gary. Bugsy, we said, right? Like, he's certainly been in form that he was kind of the current class of the field, we'll say. And if he got things his own way on the engine, it would be pretty much a done deal. And, a second quarter in almost 31 seconds, that was exactly what he needed. And, Rock and Bow, Listen, I love the effort the horse produced there. He was a little bit sluggish behind the gate, put himself in a deep hole early. Like that, Paul McKenzie said, you know what? They're going slow up front. We're just going to go all we can at them. At least made a race of it. And it was game anyways, right? Challenged that one first over and ended up fading back to third. But you know what? I'm just happy when you get a shot with one like that.
No, absolutely. And he's one that you can look at next time because he looked a lot sharper after you said getting away poorly. But then he came on really well.
Yeah, he did. And you know what? We'll put a big circle on him again, right? Because he hooks one like Bugsy McGuire this time. Was kind of up against it, the way the trip played out. And I think he's just going to get better with each start after missing a bit of time. So I'm okay with that effort. Belichick, too, solid effort to be second in there. But we usually see that, right? With the shorter the field, there's less action. And that's what kind of, gave us one to Bugsy McGuire.
1, 2, 3, 6. I like it if Belichick finishes second.
I can bet that you do. But, I mean, don't hold it against the poor horse just because he's named after a coach you despise.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. 1, 2, 3, 6, 8 on the board. Back in front of us is one Bugsy McGuire, 9-year-old Better is Delight Bay Gelding, owned by Austin Sorey, trained by Rachel Andrew. Austin Sorey, the winning driver. It's the third win this year, 48th lifetime. Bugsy McGuire, 156-1. The 10th race payouts, 1 Bugsy McGuire, 280, 210, 210, 2 paid 260 and 220. 3 Rock and Bow, 220. The 20-cent high five, $7.84. $2 exactor, $5.60. $1 try, $4.55. $2 double, $19. Numbers 4 and 1. The dollar pick 5 is $215.25. Dollar pick 3, $28.80. And the dollar win for was, and probably still is, dollar pick 4, $75.75. The 10th race. Rundown from the top. 1, 2, 3, 6, scratch 4, scratch 5. That's once again 1, 2, 3, 6, scratch 4, scratch 5. Well, fans, that concludes the live harness racing program for this Wednesday evening. Action resumes on a Friday. Our first dash at 6:30 p.m. Buenas noches, amigos. Good night, everybody. Good night, Christine.
Good night, Gary.